viewers, welcome to the Scandal After Show here at the Stream.TV, the Fan Show Network. How many of you wanted Cyrus to really say that to the president? I love that, right? I wanted it to really happen. I'm your host, Jocelyn Polite, and I am joined by my fabulous co-host. Over here to my left is Kat Endsley. To my right is Jillian Fleischman, and next to Jillian is Christina Meyers. Okay, so tons to talk about tonight, but we want you guys, we already see that you started tweeting us, so this is awesome. You started tweeting us using the hashtag ScandalAS, continue to do so, and also join us on YouTube's chat, the Stream's YouTube chat. We want to hear more. Jillian's got it in her lap, and we want to see what you have to say. Okay, so we have a whole lot to talk about tonight, and the first thing that I really want to get into is Jake. Jake, for some reason, irritated me this episode. I'm like, what is his purpose? We've been talking about that for a while, but he seems like he wants to calm the savage beast in Huck. So
yeah, maybe that's his purpose. Yeah. Can I say, okay, this reminds me of, I think on our first episode we were talking about Jake's purpose and and like, is it going to be Jake or Fitz, yeah, all this. And actually, Olivia ended up saving herself, which we you know, talked about.
Abby
saved
saved
her.
her.
Did she save herself?
Sorry, Abby saved her.
By save herself, I mean it wasn't any of the men. Like she was standing on her own, and it was her network that she had built.
I kind of loved that it was the girl who's unappreciated, who no one gets her name right, who pulls it out in the end to save her best friend. It frustrated me a little bit, but I love that it was Abby of all people.
Well said, the overlooked woman.
Well, yeah, I mean, she went back to being red, you know, and they were kind of disrespecting her and everything, but Abby stepped up, you know, I mean, this is her best friend. She already felt outed, and so, you know, but yeah, I agree. I don't know if, I thought Liv, she spoke some Farsi, which was awesome, but I don't know if she like, she full on like saved herself. But let's go into like Huck while we're on this topic, because Huck, as we saw last week, kind of lost it, went off the rails, and Jake was trying to pull him back. Do we think that now with this No More Blood, which is the title of this episode, do we think that Huck can keep that promise?
Well, the thing with Huck, I feel like, I mean, again, everybody knows Huck's my favorite character, but like the thing with Huck that I think, especially for this episode, that really came to pass is that he had the VP. He had him all tied up. He had him, like, he could have done anything he wanted. He could have, as he said to Charlie, peeled him like a grape. And yes, he gave him a stroke and like, no, he can't move or anything, which I'm sorry, Andrew, you so deserved it. You deserved it. You're just, you deserved it. But I think that Huck really, now that he has, I feel like everybody has always been saved by Olivia.
Right.
And now they have saved her.
Right.
And I feel like kind of the playing ground is now a little more even because, I mean, Huck was, I mean, yes, he stole B613's money, but like Huck was betting his own $2 billion, like to get her back. And so I feel like the playing ground has been leveled, and Huck's decision to not peel the vice president was, I think, a big turning point for him. But I also agree with you. I'm sorry, I've been Team Jake like for the last few years. I'm so bored with you. Can you please get off your ass and do something?
Well, first of all, I think Jake has overstayed his welcome. He's like the guest in your house that you're just wondering when they're going to go home. Like, he came to Scandal and he had a little bit of purpose, and he was, you know, Olivia's boo, and that was all great. But now I just feel like it's worn off. Like, I feel like he's just walking around from scene to scene trying to figure out like where to be.
I did think it was interesting that Huck seemed, you know, at least willing to ask Jake for advice. But what I really liked about Huck in this episode is, in the past, we see that he's a little bit weak. And this time, it was all about him. He was the one getting into the auction. He was the one doing the bids. I liked seeing him very strong. And it's a different side of him, because I think that he kind of said, we need Olivia, we need to save Olivia. Fine, no more blood when Olivia comes back, and I'm going to follow that now.
Yeah, that's true. And it's like, maybe it just wasn't Jake's episode. Like, it was the
But he hasn't been doing anything since the beginning of the second half.
Well, we're going to spare him a little bit and move to Abby, because I know we are like ripping Jake a new one over here.
Wait, no, I'm sorry.
I never liked him. He was just the substitute for Fitz.
For the pro Jake people here, I'm still very much an Oleg person.
Okay,
I'm sorry.
We got you.
Just putting it on
give him a break. But moving into Abby, as we saw last episode, they kind of outed, like, you're not a gladiator, get out of here, basically.
Right.
So this week, did Abby kind of prove herself back as a gladiator?
Totally.
And are we ready for her to leave the White House? I am so over Abby walking the halls of the White House.
She must be out now. I mean, she's no longer going to be the little toad, like, doing everyone's errands.
Yeah, there's
no way. Because you said that line, and that's the line that I thought of when she said, oh, once a gladiator, always a gladiator, because Huck said that, and that cut her deep last week. You could tell. So she kind of, made it a point saying, no, like, I'm still here. I think she needs to leave the White House. I'm really sick of her being there and not part of the group. What do you guys think?
I agree.
And I mean, not as purposeful. She has more to offer.
way more offers a gladiator than being the White
I'm
House
over
press
her in the White
secretary.
House. I mean, I just feel like it's a done deal. She was there. I'm kind of done with it. And honestly, she's being disrespected by Cyrus. I don't know what's up with Cyrus. What is wrong with him? And where is his husband?
Seriously, where is this new hot piece of like boy love that I wanted to look at? Like,
Wait,
where
did they get married?
You took James away from me.
They
You
did.
killed
Okay.
James.
Okay, I thought they were just engaged.
But
I didn't know
this
they
was
got
a
married.
big moment, guys. I mean, Cyrus was the only one who still had his head on straight in a way. Because what's at stake? I mean, people died for her, one person.
Wait,
right?
did you
I mean, at
guys
the end
not
of the
agree
day,
with-
what does America stand for?
Did you
It's
not
a bit
agree with
more
what he
about-
said? I totally agree with
no.
everything that he said. I really wanted them to do it.
And his like brain thing.
And
No,
then,
I agreed.
Yeah.
Olivia reaffirmed it.
Yeah.
No, I agreed with what he said. It just was like shocking to hear it. And like in all honesty, we're going to get into the other topic on that because I got some stuff to say about that. But first, we are going to take a quick break and we will be right back.
Hey everyone, don't go anywhere after the show because I am hosting Spoiler Alert and bringing you some super good hints about next week's episode. Stay tuned.
Okay. Okay, we are back with our next topic that we want to talk about. And I'm going to roll right into what I was saying before we went to break, which is this whole Olivia thing and the death thing. We know Olivia's not going to die.
Yeah.
She's the star of the show. I know we started off this episode, and I don't know how you feel out there. Let us know. But I felt like the beginning of the episode was really boring.
Yep.
And the reason why I felt that is because we were still auctioning off Olivia. We know that she's not going to die. They're teasing that kind of stuff. And it just kind of felt like, don't do that to us. We know she's not. We're smarter than that.
Yeah, it's like
you know
this,
what I'm saying?
this
Like,
isn't Walking
stagnating
Dead.
a
This
little
isn't
bit.
Game of Thrones. Like, she's not gonna die. Like, sorry, Shonda Rhimes. We know you do like to kill, like, you know, most of the cast of Grey's Anatomy. Thank you very much. But you're not gonna kill Olivia.
No.
And it was just so much auctioning. Like,
Yeah.
I mean, like, oh, 2 million, oh, 2 billion.
The crux of the show is Olivia getting in a poor situation and her getting out of that, like being the ultimate fixer.
Yep.
But I agree. I did not like the first half of this episode. I think that we all didn't. Not until, you know, my guy Papa Pope came
Which I want to get into.
A little faster.
I was
Right.
so happy to see him fly fishing and like hanging out and stuff, but I love Papa Pope and I was waiting for him and here he
crazy.
was.
It was a pretty
The-
intense speech.
The
Yeah.
craziest guy talking about the
truth.
craziest stuff in the calmest environment that you've ever seen. Like that didn't. Shonda, we got it.
Brilliant
We got
How
it.
does he have
exposition.
the patience to fish? It's remarkable.
She has the thing. Shonda Rhimes likes her leading men to fish because Patrick Dempsey on Grey's Anatomy, he's a fly fisher.
Yeah.
Like
he
the
is.
all of her
philosophy
leading men
behind
fish,
it
I'm just saying.
Was pretty. I mean, it was a pretty brilliant monologue. I was
Oh,
actually really
yeah.
impressed with the writing. This idea of human behavior and when you're fishing in the unknown and yet still playing an active part in your success.
Yeah.
It was interesting. Actually.
Which is why he earned an Image Award. Yay for him. I mean, because he's just that
And
guy.
an Emmy too.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
and he has
well
an Emmy.
deserved.
But I loved to see him come back, even though he said that he's pretty much like release Olivia. What did he say? She's not my daughter anymore. I don't believe him. Get out of here. I don't believe that. There's
You
no
always
way
love your
that you're
child.
about to leave it like that. I think that he was really hurt, like you said, because I heard you say, Christina, that she tried to shoot him, but still, I don't think you leave her out there like that. You'd wait until it got grisly and grim, but you're going to hop in.
See, I don't disagree. I mean, I don't agree. I think that he totally is like in La La Land. She burned him to a new low, and he said, I was the head of B613 for you. Yeah. I did everything for you, and you didn't want me. I mean, he call Jake out on being her boyfriend and supposed to protect her? Like, he has no shame. He's like, I'm done.
Well, the other thing I was going to say too, which I wanted to ask you, Kat.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, but Papa Pope is still command. He's over B613. How does he not know all this is going down?
He knows.
He has
to know. The thing is, like, I mean, and I've been sticking to this point, and I'm always one of those like. A parent, I mean, I'm not saying it always happens, but a parent should always love their child, no matter what happens. Yes, she tried to kill you, but I'm sorry. In that moment, you deserved it. I'm sorry.
Right, he's a terrible person.
He's a terrible person. I mean, he's a great command. Like, he's wonderful at what he does, and he really, I feel like, is a good person, like, in his soul, but I don't think he's just going to completely abandon her. I also really hope that we don't get rid of Papa Pope, because he's one of my favorite characters.
Right.
But I want to segue real quick into the return of Steven!
Yes!
Wow.
He was one of my favorite characters when I started watching this show because I know the actor so well from Lost. I mean, I'm sure everybody who sees him is like, oh yeah, Desmond. But I loved him when he left for after season 1. I was so sad, and when he walked up and that Scottish accent came out, oh, I'm so happy.
I was shocked to see him, and honestly, he looked so different. I didn't know who he was. I was like tapping
beardy.
Cat, like, who is that? Who is that?
Steven,
But it's
season
so
one,
good.
Steven, the
I
office
know.
guy.
I was happy to see him, and I was shocked that he came back. None of us saw that coming.
None of us.
And I gotta be
not
honest-
even Kat.
I didn't even see that coming. I thought he was long gone.
But a nice twist to see a new face.
Yeah.
I mean, we always talk about, Fitz versus Jake, and then
And
it's like, oh, who's going to be
tired.
the love interest?
Yeah.
I'm not saying, I mean, he's married, or that's why he left the show, but it's nice to see at least a new possible love interest for Olivia, who she respects and who, you know, she actually might have some chemistry with.
And he
come on,
remained
you
the
think love
gladiator. He
interest?
remained.
I'm just saying, a new
That's
phase.
interesting.
Well, they
They
stared
didn't
at
hook
each
up for
other.
the first 5 years of their best friendship when he was showing up at her door at 2 a.m. with wine. Like they didn't. He used to show up at her
No,
door
it's one
with
of
wine
those
at 3 in the
friends.
morning. Like,
We
yeah,
all
he's one of
have
the
friends like that.
the
where
really
you're
hot
like, it's not
sexist friend.
happening.
I wasn't
It's
sure
not
if he
happening.
was to be trusted, but it ended up where he was actually to be trusted. So, because I
Right.
wasn't sure about it
Right.
at first, I was like, okay, he used to be with her, but so what? You know,
Once a
things change.
gladiator, always a gladiator.
But that's great. I'm glad that he saved her, and that was a beautiful scene. And he doesn't want to come back to OPA, and I thought that was insulting for her to ask him in the first place because he's like a billionaire in Russia.
Yeah, he's like the head of the
He
Russian
said
mob
that,
now.
I feel like someone,
I thought-
someone owed him a favor, so
Right.
that's how he got
It
the
was
money.
crazy. But let's talk about.
How is he? God knows what he's done in Russia.
Oh,
I mean,
a
come
lot.
on. How could he still? How could he? Whose side is he on? I mean,
And
is
what's
there
he doing
any
in Russia?
morality? I don't know.
Yeah.
And the
Yeah, not
CIA.
good, not
What
good.
was up with Olivia and that whole flashing back with the CIA?
The CIA did it. They did it.
Wow.
They did it. They plotted
like
to
we
kill
said,
her. They
the
plotted to
guys,
kill her.
All American. On American soil. I mean, when she was kidnapped and
The glass.
pretended to be that thing. Yeah,
Yeah,
it's
it
like,
was the same
how
glass
else
and it
did
was the
someone
same
pull that off?
camera equipment that they were using when they were filming her, like her
Chilling.
video when she was saying like, I'm Olivia Pope, nobody's hurt me, blah, blah, blah. Same exact camera equipment, same exact glass. They were all CIA operatives or former CIA operatives, as Jake had said. But the CIA can very easily say, oh, they used to be one of ours and now they're not anymore. The government is planning to kill Olivia because she has too much control over Fitz. My prediction.
While I don't disagree with
Wow.
that, I didn't get that exact message from that.
Okay.
I thought like when she drank from the glass, she went back to that moment where she drank from the other glass, and she's kind of having a little bit of PTSD. We know she's not going to be the same person that she was before, but I mean, I'm not saying that's not true. I'm just saying I would like to know more.
Yeah.
Because if it is, that's a huge positive thing. Because I mean, anyone here will tell you, we watch this, and I'm always like, ugh, Fitz. Oh my God, I
She
cannot
hates
stand Fitz.
Well,
She
love
hates
Fitz.
him.
Well,
that just
So I would kind of love that.
Christina was so sad about
Stars
Fitz, and I
yelling.
have to say, you know, I felt bad for you because I know it was a moment. Yeah, right, girl.
Yeah, we're good.
I know
we're
it
good.
was. I know it was a moment for you
dying.
because the whole
Okay.
Fitz thing happened, but I felt like Liv. I'm sorry, but I'm just thinking about it. I get what she was saying about the whole war thing and don't go to war, you know, for me, and you shouldn't have risked all that for me and everything like that. But girl, he did all that for you, and you really put him out of your house.
Yeah, that's
See,
fair.
not
even a
That's what
hug.
I'm saying. It was so,
I mean, not even a thank you or like.
so hurtful. I mean, look, she was right, but at the same time, like, give him a hug. Exactly.
At least.
Sorry, guys.
Oh
I
my
loved
God,
it.
Like, well, he might
I
have
loved
off a
it.
bridge. I mean, my
Jillian's
God.
like, just kill
Well,
him.
don't you kind of feel like you're watching this show every week and you're like,
Yeah.
oh my God, the president would do that for her. Like he would really put the country in jeopardy. I feel like she went through all of this and she woke up. She finally realized how ridiculous it was for the president who comes off like a puppy and a baby to do all of this when he's the leader of a country.
A bitch baby.
Very
A
selfish.
total bitch baby.
No,
Total
but
bitch
not
baby.
being a bitch, but what
Yes.
about her? What about the role she played in it? I mean, her and
Oh,
him,
totally.
the relationship together, just selfish, not as important as the
It's
entire
not like
country.
Listen,
Yeah,
it's not
that's
like
the
I'm
thing.
betting on it being the last, Fitz and Olivia sex scene that we'll ever see. I mean, I think it's still
No,
going to happen.
no.
It's
Yeah.
just a really nice moment right now.
Well, the thing also is like for Olivia, I mean, coming back now after having been in this horrific situation, she now feels responsible for those thousands of soldiers that died in West Angola and
Right.
that
Yeah.
entire week that they were searching for her. That in her, like, I mean, and I can understand why she would think this way. That's her fault. Or it's Fitz's fault for sending them,
Right.
but she's the reason all those children now don't have fathers and mothers. She's the reason that those parents lost their kids. She's the reason these teenagers got blown up because they had joined the armed forces. And all of that for one person. I mean, I feel like Olivia almost, it was again like a Homeland thing, like with Saul. Like Olivia probably would have killed herself before
Right.
she let
I
that
agree.
happen.
I think it's both of their faults with all that cheating and sneaking.
Cheating and sneaking.
And that the fault belongs to both of them, and that's, you know what I'm saying? And it's unfortunate that people
Yeah.
had to die in this because of it, but anyway, like we said,
Jocelyn,
this
I love
episode
you.
did
As
start
dramatic as
off
it
a little
can get.
boring, but I have to say that it did improve. I felt like now we don't have an episode next week, but the one after that is supposed to be jaw-dropping. Kerry Washington was supposed to have a reaction at the table read that was like, what is about to happen? So I
Yeah.
can't wait to
WT.
see that.
I mean, here's the question. Was it just like PTS after all that she's been through with the CIA, or is the CIA actually plotting to get her? Maybe it takes a turn for the paranoid and she's not on point anymore. I mean, maybe that's what's coming next.
Because you saw her
the
even
trailer.
this.
you saw what was coming next.
Yeah,
and
so you don't
Well,
know.
she's a real
losing
person.
control a little, and a real person,
Yeah.
and what's her purpose anymore? I mean, just to come back and fix things.
I mean, how
is that going to be satisfying?
How would you feel if you discovered that your government was plotting to kill you? I'm just saying, like, if you
that's
came
what
back,
happened. Right.
if that is what's
Right.
going on, and she is now back living in D.C., like, with this government right all around her, working for the government, helping fix the government, and the government just tried to kill her?
Well, she might need to fix that. But we want to hear.
She is the ultimate fixer.
Exactly. We want to hear your questions, and we're going to get
Fix
to
it.
your questions next. But first, we're going to take a quick break, and we'll be right back.
Oh my gosh, guys. Have you heard what Olivia Pope does next week? I can't tell you until after the show, so stay tuned. Coming up right here.
What a tease.
Okay,
What
we're
a
gonna
tease, my darling.
a great tease.
What's
Okay,
going
we're
on?
gonna give a few Twitter shout outs, and I want to thank you for joining us and watching with us. And give me a little second here. Okay, here we go.
There we go.
We have at Baby Rodriguez 27, at Chrissy_NC, at Jennifer Elm, at TV Tag Scandal, at Scandal Fan NL, at Taryn_Gary, at Sean Richards, hey girl, and at Kerry Quattlebaum. Thank you so much for retweeting, favoriting, and joining the conversation with us. We really appreciate it.
Hi, Jennifer Elm. We love you.
We do love you. Okay, we're going to get to our questions. So let's see. We've got fan question number 1. You guys ready?
Ready.
Yes.
All right. At Chris Hawkins 94. Do you think Olivia will ask Abby to become a gladiator again?
I hope so.
I hope so, too.
Please get her out of that White
already-
House.
Look, in
You
her
think
heart,
so?
she was always a gladiator. You know
Yeah.
what? It
Yeah.
was just crazy that
mean,
they
fair
were
enough, like,
blocking her out like
She
that.
needed
Yeah.
to find a job when Olivia left. I mean, that's
Yeah.
fair. I'm
When
sorry.
it was
That's
neutral,
fair.
it was like everybody retired. She did her best.
Yeah.
But she
Yeah.
needs to go home. It's like she's had like enough time of being there by herself and kind of growing up and growing her backbone, I would say. But now she needs to go back to Olivia, I think.
Yep.
I think so
OPA.
too. I'm done. I'm absolutely done with her with the White House, and I actually just want her to.
I want them to stop calling her Red. Her name is Abby.
Right.
Her name is Abby. You know this, Cyrus.
I think she just has more purpose as a gladiator,
Yeah.
and she can
Yes.
accomplish more.
100%.
More power.
I mean, you heard her when Cy was like, "Oh, go put in those, whatever, enter the information, the stats on the board." It's
Yeah.
like Abby has more capability than that.
I feel like she's just walking around the White House, and I'm over it. Okay, fan question number 2 comes from @Gladiator in an ATL. Will the Vice President, Andrew, get taken out by one of his new enemies to prevent him from destroying the president? Well, we now know
he's
that
just like
Huck
this.
took him out
You know, I
in a
like.
non-bloody way.
I
in a
will
non-bloody
give
way.
props
Oh my
to that because that
God.
question came in earlier this week. So
It did,
she
yeah.
pegged it
Yeah.
from
Yeah.
the very beginning, and I was so happy to see.
No, you
Andrew go
nailed
down.
it.
Yeah.
You
And
nailed
I couldn't
it.
believe when Huck said, "I'm not going to do it." I just thought this guy has to be.
Well, he said
neutralized.
no blood.
He said no
There's
blood.
no way, but there was, and that was very clever. I didn't see coming how they were going
Right.
to take him out, but I was like, he's going out this
Can I just say,
episode.
Millie visiting Andrew in the hospital and sitting down and just going, "You brought this on yourself, baby." Oh my
Wait,
God.
wait, how is
Millie.
he? He's like,
He was like that, and
Right, right.
she's like touching his face and bringing him flowers. I was like, "Get it, Millie. You get it, girl."
Okay, yes,
Oh.
but you guys, that just scares me because I'm like, this is fuel on the fire, and just
Yeah.
every time somebody says that, it's like their last words that they regret. You know
Well,
what
I
mean?
love that
Like,
you said.
just
I love that you
chill,
said Mellie. Because our fan question number 3 actually is about Mellie, and this question is from @VermontIsDead. Why does Mellie Grant believe that she can run the country when she has never succeeded at anything politically?
But she's never had to try. She's never
Right.
tried to run for anything because she's always been Fitz's wife.
Okay,
if
she's trying to make political moves, though. She was
she
trying
has
to
been
make
as the
political
first
moves.
lady, not as like a
Yeah.
senator or
No,
as
but
a
she
congresswoman.
wasn't making those political
got
moves
the
as a
law
first lady.
degree.
She thought she was the girl. She tried to
Well,
head everything.
That's
Remember?
fair, but when her husband is president, like if she's on her own and trying to become a senator or trying to become a congresswoman, I think that's a completely different animal.
Well, I would question
Okay.
what like succeeding really means because Fitz has been waffling, and
Yeah.
even Mellie said that she's the one who's taken control and made a lot of the decisions for him. So I kind of think that she has succeeded, which is why she could be pres.
What do you think, Christina?
I agree. Look, I think that in the earlier episodes, they established what an accomplished lawyer she was, like how much she had to offer, her intelligence, like all of this, and how much she supported Fitz. I mean, all of them. It's a team effort. She's
Right.
just as capable. And I think, like you all said last episode, that scene with the soldiers who had passed, it was like to be president is to be the poster
Right.
of America, right? And
Right.
she was representing there.
Yeah.
Okay, all right. You guys believe in Mellie. I don't. I'm not there yet. I'm gonna give it more time. I'm gonna woo-saw on it, and I'm gonna get there with you guys on Mellie. But while that happens, I'll start. But while that happens, I want to find out, Jillian, what's going on. We want to know what's going on YouTube, and do we have any questions and comments?
So yeah, people are talking a lot right now. They're really actually happy that Huck was like a standout character this week, which I think is great, and they love that he was, had a hand in saving Olivia at some point. We did have a question come in that asked us what we had wished for, like what we thought the reunion should be between Olivia and Jake and Olivia and Fitz. So I wanted to get your reaction on that.
I feel like she did everything she could. She didn't hug either one of them. She didn't, she wasn't, over herself. Like, oh my gosh, it's so good to see you. Poor woman is traumatized.
Right.
Yeah.
Traumatized. And I think that Olivia, greeted them with as much, heart and soul as she had to give in that moment. Stephen is the one that she knows saved her. She doesn't know about, all the other stuff. All she knows is that
That's a good
Stephen
point.
showed up and Stephen saved her. And so she got all of her, thank you, Godness out to Stephen. So I enjoyed it. I agree. She was a little all right, cool off there, child. At least give the man a hug.
Right.
But yeah, I like what Olivia did. I like the way that the writing ended. I really enjoyed the last half of this episode. Thank you, Shonda Rhimes.
Yeah, but I sympathized with her response. I felt like, in a way, totally telling Jake, I need to be alone made sense. And then, of course, after she's just told him I need to be alone, Fitz is like, do you need to be alone?
Hey guys.
Puppy. He's a puppy.
He is a puppy.
Oh, Lord. Uh-oh, here we
He's
go.
a basset
Oleg and
hound.
Olitz on the couch
He
fighting.
cannot be a dog and be the president of the United States.
But I love him.
Unless you're a pit bull.
All right, well,
Fitz meant
we
well.
want to give a couple of more shout outs to some of our fans and some of the blogs and fan sites that are out there. We want to, first of all, let me start with Nathalie. I want to get that right. Nathalie from France.
Yeah.
Who is on YouTube and wanted us to give her a big shout out. And we appreciate you watching from France.
Oh my gosh,
we
you're
love
watching
it.
from France. That's
I
crazy.
know.
What time is it there for you?
When do you watch
It doesn't
3 in the
matter. She
morning?
tunes in. Okay, Scandal Chat of Facebook, Scandal Lights on Facebook, who also is posting our show on the site, which we thank you for that.
Thank you.
At Gladiators Unite is also posting our show on the site, which we love. And looktothecookie.org is posting our show on their site. We want to give you guys a big thank you.
Awesome.
We really appreciate all the love and support. Okay, woo. It was a lot.
It was a
There was a lot
lot.
to
Yeah.
that. But
Yeah.
and we're not going to be here next week because we've got a little week of break. I don't quite know why, but okay. But we'll be here the week after. We'll be back, what is it, March 5th, I believe? And so with that, we are going to get right back on the couch and dig right back into what's going to happen in Scandal. We want to thank you for joining us here at thestream.tv and for making us your after show for Scandal. Remember to click like, subscribe, and just hopefully talk to us, comment. We want to talk to you. We love the
Please
comments.
do.
Yeah,
And
tweet
follow
us.
us on Twitter. Exactly. Stay tuned because we are actually going to go over to some spoiler alerts and let you know what's going on. Night, Gladiators.
Night, Gladiators.
For more Scandal After Show, hit that button and subscribe to thestream.tv.